Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Doctor Who, this is The Wilderness Years, and this is The Devil of Winterborne. I really enjoyed the Zero Imperative. I think my favourite thing about it actually was just the sheer amount of Doctor Who alumni we had involved in every single process of it. That to me was just brilliant, because there's been a couple of these that I've watched where I've thought to myself, oh, it would have been really cool if, like, this person was in it, that person was in it, like how I thought, like, Auton would be. But then Auton turned out to be this complete different monster that was just actually really interesting to watch without any of the Doctor Who involvement in it. It was just these group of people that really worked well together in that story, and I loved Lockwood. So to see that that worked without people in it was really interesting, because obviously the other things that have been watched in this Wilderness Years era have all had Doctor Who, either writers, cast involvement in it. So to go through those three was really interesting. This one, I'm just wondering if we have a follow-up from Zero Imperative, if it's going to be maybe another hospital, if we're going to get any of the cast back from the Zero Imperative. Has it been, a bit of a gap between that ending and this one starting? Are we just going to go straight on in like a continuous storytelling format, or is this going to be completely separate with a gap in between? Quite a long one, this one, which really surprised me, so I'm just going to get on into this. Let's go. Hey, doggy. As long as the dog's not harmed, I'm okay.
Go on, Monty.
Oh no, what? What happened to Monty? Oh, hey! I genuinely adore that she came back and did these.
What happened here?
Oh, a fella called Whittaker. Skull smashed in.
Heavy presence by the boys in blue. Why do you want me here?
I don't.
Who does? Somebody does.
It's not a routine death.
Remains to be seen. There is something else, you see.
What's this?
Monty?
A dog? Any idea what all these symbols are?
Well, I was rather hoping you might tell us.
Oh God, what's actually going on
That is why you
here?
were called in, after all. The best place to start would be the school.
The school?
Teacher?
Up to 6 months ago, Whittaker used to be headmaster of that big old place up the road. He must have passed it on the way.
Winterborne.
Winterborne?
I'll have a word with my uncle.
Oh my God. Oh!
Still no sign of her?
I'm afraid not, Headmaster.
Gavin. Call me Gavin.
If you'll excuse me, Headmaster.
Actually, do you have a moment, Barbara?
Oh no.
I'm afraid I have a bit of bad news.
What is it?
It's my dog.
All we can say for sure is that someone spent a great deal of effort decapitating Mrs. Tapler's dog, and that Whittaker's dog was killed in a very similar way. Well, the animal remains have been sent for analysis.
Essentially, the connection is to this place, to the school.
Yeah. Strange thing is, it's all rather familiar.
The way a dog was killed, those patterns on the ground, it's all happened before.
Where? Winterborne. Did you find out about that?
Scarecrow? Yeah, it was Taplow's bloody dog.
Yeah.
We reckon Mad Georgie did it to scare us off his precious gardens.
God, that's horrible.
You were telling me about this Gretorix bloke. What, you've heard of him as well?
Founder of the school, wasn't he?
Why do I suddenly feel very ignorant? Because you are, you prick.
He did say history
Do you
was
wanna
his
hear this
least
or
favourite
not?
subject
Sorry,
as well,
go
to be
on.
fair.
Right.
He was put on trial in secret.
What for?
There was some sort of scandal. A lot of people think he was forced to give up control of Winterborne.
Who by?
He was involved in some sort of religious sect, like, you know, what's his name? electricity scientist.
Faraday?
Yeah, Faraday. Only it was much more weird than that. Greta Rex's lot had science and alchemy all mixed up. They had all kinds of theories. There was a lot of talk of sacrifices, of strange things being seen in the woods.
What kind of things?
Devil worship and all that.
Do you think that scarecrow had anything to do with it?
Hang on, Luke. This is over 200 years ago.
Doesn't mean it stopped.
Well,
I only know what I've read and what my uncle told me. He was born just down the road.
what does he say?
He says there's a grey man of Winterborne.
Oh god, I love that he never hears anything about like the past of the school, and then the one day that he does, he has like an interrupted night's sleep like this. Luke never went to bed. I just make me giggle that these guys are supposed to be like 17, 18. They're not. It's like they're trying to get rid of the people that have been here a long time. The history teacher's probably going to be next. One of them's got a creek, isn't it? Where'd they go?
Luke? What about you?
Oh, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, Andrew. Believe me, I've seen some pretty odd things in my time. You say this ghost has been seen before?
Well, I don't know. Christian reckons.
Christian.
Oh no, has Christian now
Sounds
disappeared?
natural. He says people think it's the ghost of the school's founder.
Every home should have one.
Oh!
He says it's known as the Grey Man of Winterborne.
That's something tangible, at least. Now we've got the police here, we can file a missing person.
Oh, oh.
What's that?
His necklace.
That's his.
And do you think this might have something to do with Mr. Whittaker's death?
Well, I'm not sure, but now we have a missing boy.
Missing? Oh, yes, of course. Well, as I explained to young Mr. Powell... Would you
What?
excuse me a moment?
It's happening.
All right, you miserable sod. Don't say we never give you anything.
Oh my god. Is he going to say he found him hanging and he just took him down? Or what's up?
Subject was very efficiently throttled. You can see the contusions round the neck. Extensive damage to the trachea.
Definitely the cause of death.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, miss.
Is he missing
Neck
blood?
broken very cleanly.
Thank you, Mr. Cummings. You've been most kind.
There's little something extra, miss.
What?
Armpit.
You see that?
It's some sort of wound.
Someone's tried to cut into him just underneath the arm. Done with a sharp instrument. Long blade, slightly rusty, bent to the left.
Why would anyone want to do that?
Stick a catheter in there and you get direct access to the heart.
And the blood supply.
Look, what is all this about?
Is he covering for Christian?
Exhibit G, I think you'll find, Detective Inspector.
Because Christian could be wearing his jacket.
The body of Mr. Whittaker.
Well, Mr. Purcell?
I have nothing to say.
He's got to get a lawyer.
Dan, here, let me. No, it's okay, miss. Just let me. It's okay.
Oh. Shit.
Badger's collar.
We found it near the scarecrow,
No, you didn't.
didn't we, Andrew?
No, you didn't.
Did you two have something to do with my dog's killing?
He did. He did it. He did it.
Georgie. Is there someone else?
I think Barbara might have
There is,
killed
isn't
Christian by now.
Not just Purcell. Or Whittaker.
Police.
Hello. This is Dr. Shaw.
Shit.
GI Burt.
It's definitely Christian.
You see, he thinks he is Isaac Gretorix.
Christian was seen driving out of the school with Andrew Powell. He's already killed 3 people. We have to find him now.
It's the bridge.
Bloody Nora.
Luke was a bit of a sap, wasn't he? His blood was awfully thin. to spoil it this time.
Please, let Andrew go.
I am Isaac Greatorex. I always said I'd come back. Now I have.
Where did he come from?
Isaac Greatorex is...
I am Isaac Greatorex.
No, you're not. You're a poor, confused boy who's had his whole life bent out of shape by the only person he thought he could trust.
But Gavin said. He always said, he promised me.
When you killed Mrs. Taplow, you left this in her body.
Give it.
Doesn't have to be like this, Christian.
Very small dagger.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Med is a game, apparently.
Okay.
Christian!
This was really interesting, like to see this school involved in this whole sacrificial cult, because the guy who originally opened the school was that way inclined in his beliefs. Was interesting. I kind of knew from the get-go that Peter was involved in this. You could just kind of tell by his body language and his mannerisms. But then as I got further on into it, I was like, he's involved, but he's clearly covering for somebody. The only person he would cover for is Christian. So to see that it was actually really cool. I liked this a lot. I love Liz. I love that Louise Jameson's in this. There were a few instances during this where like I was quite uncomfortable with like certain language used within the script. Yes, these were the 90s, but even so, like some of it was a little bit too much for me, and I struggled with it slightly as well. Like the treatment of the groundskeeper, that was Matt Gatiss as well, was kind of quite below the belt as well, actually. So to me, that was the only kind of downside to this story, and it was a little bit disappointing to see that in this. I did like, however, that we got to see the whole procedure of the investigation playing out. I think this one did it a lot better than what the Zero Imperative did, as much as I really enjoyed that. I think this one did that side of things better, and I just thought that, you know, it was a clever little story, and you can kind of see where Matt Gatiss's kind of obsession with horror came into this little bit with the whole exsanguination. I think I called it something else earlier, of the bodies. I was a bit sad that obviously like we had the sacrifices and it had to be like the two dogs of the two people that Peter worked with, and I was just a bit like, oh, these poor little dogs, man. But I kind of think Whittaker probably knew because he let Monty off the lead at first. Poor Badger as well, like what had happened to Badger. And then I felt really bad because the history teacher Barbara then died because Christian had Badger's collar in his suitcase. It's like he was keeping like a memento of what he'd done to Badger. That was horrible, like to see that, and I felt really bad for like those guys, like, you know, they've lost their lives and then their dogs have been killed, and I was just like, this poor boy though, like he has just been through shit really, and you know, Peter's character obviously fed him a lot of lies, and he ended up believing that he had become this man who started it all, and he was that person. I did think he's going to jump at any point when they were on the bridge, and then to see that when he did jump, he basically just vanished. I like that they kept like that supernatural element in there as well, because at times, as good as the procedural things were with the police investigation, for them to go back to having that supernatural element along with the cult and things, I think worked really well. So it's going to be interesting to see what the next one's about, because I think that one's called Unnatural Selection. But then I believe there is a sequel to this one as well, so I may just go watch those, and I will see you guys later. So thank you.